members should have gotten a copy of our September the 9th minutes in your packet. Do we have any corrections or additions to the minutes to be made?
We don't make a motion to approve.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll now like to open it, good to see a good crowd here tonight. Now I'd like to open it up to the public. If y'all have any comment, if you would, please come to the podium, state your name and, for the record, we'll have your comments.
My name is Blake Mitchell. I represent Mason Roads. I believe that was before y'all the last time. We just approved the minutes for it. Just wanted to kind of give y'all an update because I said that's what I would do, and I just wanted to be true to my word and let you know that he is in the process of trying to now schedule out the paving of his parking lot. But we still have a few issues that, like I said, we haven't completely resolved. TDOT has somewhat left us in a somewhat of a stalemate. The last communications we kind of had was that their perception that they portrayed at first that the driveways were private access is false. We were able to prove that through their expansion highway plans that show that this was a business entrance for SS Block. Both of them were commercial business entrances. That being said, in accordance with TDOT's own rules, that they say when you have something, it's grandfathered in. Once something else changes around it, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's for that use, as long as there's not a change in use. It's a commercial use, it's a commercial business, it's the same line, there's not an increase in traffic or anything like that. And so it's been my contention that these are permitted drives. Of course, TDOT pushed back and said that they weren't, but once we told them that, we would pursue monetary and punitive damages, I haven't heard anything since. And that was back in October, just to kind of give you an idea. So I haven't heard anything back. That being said, the other thing is the stormwater catch basin system that runs through there. Yeah, so it's causing his driveway to sink in already. Like I said, he repaired it, not even about a year ago now, I guess, when he was, building his building. It's sinking back in. It's known sediment issue. And I've actually got photos and a report here that I'll give to each one of you that shows the faultiness in it. The other thing that is, I think needs to be addressed, we have a lot of development going on down the road there now between the health department. We're talking about low-income housing. Right now, all of that drains to this catch basin that's on Mason's property, the one that's messed up. It's all being put into that catch basin through about an 18-inch culvert pipe. It's not going to handle the 14 acres-ish that's back there. So what I'm trying to say...
Is that in right-of-way?
Do what?
Is that in right-of-way?
The culverts. So a portion of it cuts across about probably a third of his yard at an angle. The main catch basin is not actually in the right-of-way. It is in what is a runoff slope easement that they have for this stormwater catch basin in order to direct water across the highway there. But the other part that is feeding into it along College Drive from the Tennessee Department of Employment and the farmhouse currently, it feeds through into a junction box and then into that stormwater catch basin across Mason's property. So whether or not it's in the utility right away along College Drive, it's probably pretty close if I had to guess. It's probably right there about the edge. Regardless, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I said, I don't think even right now, and you look at the satellite image, Jackson State already has flooding issues on the backside from where it's not able to support the water that's coming off of it. When we take and we make another 3 or 4 acres non-permeable surface, we're going to have a significant more amount of water that's going to run off, and it's going to cause more and more problems for everybody down there. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just if we're going to continue to do this, we need to plan ahead for the infrastructure that's going to be required to handle it. And I think that's going to involve tearing a lot of this stuff up and making it to where it's sized appropriately. I'm not an engineer. Let me be very, very clear and say that. I do work with engineers pretty regularly though, and I asked the amount of volume that we're looking at and he said, I don't think there's any way in the world you can move that amount of volume through an 18-inch culvert over that amount of feet. He said, I just don't think that's any way possible. So I just wanted you to bring that forward to you because it's also impacting Mason. Because like I said, right now he's worried about paving over the top of it where it's sinking in. If we have a sinkhole that forms and injures somebody on his property, one, he could be liable because that's somebody that he's invited onto his property more than likely for services. But two, I've made clear to TDOT and the city multiple times, and they've all come out and inspected it and are well aware of the issues.
That was my next question was, I remember we had a big discussion on this when this was presented to us, but we've all slept since then.
Right.
But determined that was, I remember the state was involved in that, especially that drainage or the way that was construed or whatever, so who's,
Well, so that was,
whose baby is that? Who's got a close?
well, so we had a 2-hour-long meeting there, and that was one of the hotly contested topics. TDOT didn't want to take ownership for it, the city wasn't sure if it was theirs or not, and so we ended up, finally, when the engineers from TDOT was going through looking at their expansion plans, and said, oh, hey, looky here, here's where we designed it. And I said, well, if you designed it and installed it, I said, it's pretty indicative that it's yours. At least the catch basin that's up near the highway. And so,
They say the catch on Mason's property.
yes, it is on his property. And
He built it?
No, absolutely not. It's been there for sometime in the late 80s, early 90s. It just kind of give you an idea. So CD at the top, that's what stands for catch basin. It is about 30 feet deep, if I had to guess. So it's not like it's just a small hole in the ground. I mean, it's.
Can I get a copy?
Don't let me take your presentation.
No, you're good. Like I said,
Just leave it.
So anyways, pretty big. It's not like it's something just small, easy to move. I don't necessarily know if like the whole thing is messed up. What it looks like, and this once again, just I'm trying to going back 20-something years. Whenever they installed the drain pipe from the Tennessee Department of Employment, Susan Collins, it ended up that they just took, looks like a jackhammer to the side of this concrete catch basin and cut out a hole and then stuffed a corrugated culvert pipe, metal culvert pipe into it. Well, they made a hole that was too big, and so you'll see in there's pictures. They just stuffed tarp or rags or cloth or whatever they could find around it, which, fine, dandy, it like worked for a little while. Now it's obviously degraded and it's allowed setting. And so like I said, I showed that in some pictures, some satellite images. You can see where it's washing out. It's not nothing fresh. But it's, I think, a major concern now that we have active traffic going across that property. Especially right there, that's right where his driveway comes across from College Drive. Like I said, I don't think we want anybody to be injured from that. And so that's one thing that I wanted to bring to your attention and see if we can get a resolution to fix it, or if we could get some type of resolution that would say that when Mason paves his parking lot, if we have to come back in and fix it and tear up his parking lot, that you would pay for or be inclined to fix the paving that's tore up. See, the problem with TDOT generally is, and I don't know what your position from the city is, TDOT generally will not repave your non-permeable surface. They'll put the dirt back, they'll pack it back in, they'll put gravel, that's it. The repaving is on you. Obviously, we know that Mason originally wasn't anticipating having to pave this. Like I said, he kind of said, y'all even have a 6% gravel lot. His fault. He should have read some of the zoning codes and known that it was going to be a non-permeable paved surface. Anyway, he's going to pave it, fine with that. I think he's just worried that if it falls in or he has to repave it, that it may be another expense that he really wasn't anticipating. And also, how long is it going to impact?
The planning commission couldn't make any commitments along those lines. You'd have to go to the city board for that.
Oh.
That's not in our purview.
The best thing about a historical situation, though, I hope it does drive home the point of dedication of improvements and,
Yeah. Well, that more falls under us. Like I say, as far as
Right.
expenditures, that's why I was asking you whose baby it was. And because the city board will be the one, they're the only one that can spend the money or okay money to be something corrected or improved or whatever.
Right. I guess part of it is too, is I just want to mention, because all of the planning and development that's also taking place further down this line. Like I said, it's all going to be impacted by it, and I just wanted it to be considered.
Down in front of S&S Auto, I know there's a sinkhole down there that pops up every now and then.
Right.
I guess it's.
But you also don't want, as a developer, you don't want to go in there and spend a bunch of money, fix something, and then 2 months later, tear it all up. I mean, I understand that completely, and before you, did we do, when did August 1st?
Yes, sir. It is. And like I said, that's why he's got, once again, his contractor that's looking out and calling about scheduling it out for him, and was asking, because we had mentioned these stormwater issues, if we'd had it resolved, or if we'd had it resolved also with TDOT. Because once again, he's trying to see when he can schedule him out.
The only thing I could suggest is if you, because of some resolution that y'all may be able to come up with to offer a more permanent solution to the problem.
Okay.
Delays you being able to be finished by August the 1st. I think the board would be receptive to Mason coming back and asking for an extension.
And he needs to come to y'all for the extension.
Right.
So you don't,
State laws changed a little bit to where private, improvements are, you know, can be done, handled under zoning. But again, the actual money, y'all could approve it and the city board should review it and okay it. Y'all follow me?
Oh, well, we, like I say, we have no control over expenditures, but that would be the only thing, and I encourage them and y'all to, try to get a longer term solution and then come back if you need the extra time.
so you
That would
don't,
be the only thing we would have any control over.
as council, you don't feel like the state's gonna raise their hand up and say, I do.
And see, I
do.
agree to,
It's their,
I think they will to the catch basin, I don't think they will to anything else. So you'll notice in there, I mentioned the concrete culvert that runs underneath, College Drive. Once again, that was talked about by TDOT and the city as being, like I said, slipping past each other. You know, two solutions they mentioned was digging it up or trying to mortar the joints. I don't know if mortaring the joints is gonna work, they're pretty heavy, they probably just continue to crack. But regardless, they were saying that it was messed up, the junction box messed up. We don't know about the culvert in between the junction box and catch basin, and I would say it's probably somewhere in there that the city would take over ownership of it, if I had to guess. So that would be the metal culvert from the catch basin and also the concrete culvert running under College Drive.
I think that due diligence needs to be done,
Wow.
and all that needs to be for sure figured out who's who.
Well, like I said, I asked that.
And then go, like I say,
So I've asked that from TDOT and the city, and like I said, everybody wanted to back away. Like I said, everybody didn't act like they didn't know nothing about the development that was taking on down the street. They didn't know that the housing authority was gonna ask to extend College Drive, to Roy Pruitt Road, like it's shown on the tax parcel ID. And like I said, so I stood there with my jaw dropped a little while. Put it that way.
Any other questions?
What about the guy that engineered the whole thing? You said the guy, 36-inch pipe, not gonna carry all that water.
18-inch pipe right now.
18-inch?
Oh, yeah, that's what it currently is, 18-inch metal corrugated pipe. And like I said, I mean, you can plug it in, there's a couple different programs online and run the numbers too and see that there's no way it's gonna work as far as for the amount of feet that it's having to push that through and what it currently is. Like I said, there's no way. That being said, to do a full engineered study, I mean, you're talking 50, 100 grand plus, if I had to guess.
What I'm talking about, the guy that engineered to start with.
So TDOT, when they originally did the drawings,
Yeah.
so that was during their expansion plans, and like I said, if I had to guess, it was based on topography, which at that time, there was S&S block and there was a shop behind it. I don't know if it took into account all of this going to a non-permeable surface like we have now, where we have all these asphalt parking lots and buildings that occupy a significant amount of space. That's a lot of runoff, a lot faster. Your
Oh, yeah.
coefficient for absorption is way different.
you're responsible for your water.
Yes, 100%. You can't just redirect it onto someone else.
Comment there, even the people upstream, you know, it's not, that's why first question I asked, was there a right of way? I mean, was it a easement right of way for drainage, the city, whoever?
Right.
I mean, you know, if you're developing something, you've gotta dedicate some easements for drainage and right of way and utility.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, is that out of line, is it out of where it's supposed to be, or is it not done right? If it's not big enough, I can see when that was put in, I don't know how many years ago, but, you know.
I've slept since then, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
So it's, I can see where, I'm not questioning the need for to be bigger or better.
Right.
But it's like, I'm just trying to figure out who's gonna kick the football.
Right, 100%. I agree. And so that's why I was hoping once again we'd get out there with the city and TDOT to see if we can kind of work together. One, to see where everybody owns. Two, to see if we can all work together to accomplish a joint task and like I said, mitigate the impact to each other. That's my thoughts. And then like I said, I kind of got through for a loop out there in the mix of it. So that was really, like I said, what I was really wanting to do was plan it out so that once again Mason can kind of know, hey, well, for instance, if we're going to dig this up and impact all of College Drive, I would think that we'd probably want to do it when college students probably aren't in session, so we can be as least impactful to Jackson State, because that's the only entrance. So do we do it during winter break, or spring break, or summer, something?
Thank you for bringing this up and fixing us up today on it. Like I say, if you know,
all this property that we're talking about here up College Drive is in the city limits, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So we got two new buildings, one's already been built up there,
Yes.
it's not occupied yet.
One just been cleared, one lot has
And
been.
another lot's been cleared for a building,
Yep, that's correct.
so they're gonna put more water down there.
Mm-hmm.
So these people on that end of the drive are gonna be just as responsible for water that's hitting in this catch basin as Mr. Rhodes is.
Yes, as far as what water they're gonna be directing towards it.
Again, hopefully the engineers took runoff from their individual lots into account.
Well, you know, when you blacktop, you know, water runs faster on blacktop than grass. So it's,
Speaking of that, you just saying the engineers will take, I guess, is stormwater one of the requirements for the planning commission to review?
I made an emphasis of that in our new site plan review
Oh,
that was done. And you know, that got some pushback, I think, beyond
well,
y'all.
it's a detrimental.
So,
It has to be considered.
like I say, the best thing about a situation that could have been probably done better is that y'all don't do it again. So we'll go from there.
yeah, and that, like I said, I just wanted to bring it forward so we're all just kind of all aware, like I said, with the development that's taking place, what problems it may cause for people down that way, as far as, like I said, Jackson State being flooded behind their building, Mason's being overrun with the water that's run to it. So like I said, we can either consider talking to the city government about fixing that, the development, like I said, I don't know if you want to put it as a condition to them developing something there, I don't know if that's already all been approved or not.
I think it has.
Like I said, just,
What needs to be done there, you two parties need to do what you were talking about, getting together with that.
One.
And then let Brandon kind of know, and let him monitor that. He can report to us, you can too, but then if any remedy at all is going to have to be done through the city.
right, and like I said, that's, I guess, somewhat where I'm.
And the city may not take on this, and I'm talking in
Yeah.
generalities.
No, you're
Because if they fix that one, y'all know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. That's where this board is.
Right.
And that's it.
Y'all
How we
are,
understand it, but it's got to do protocol
Right, no, I
to
get it,
get to the right, you got to get to the right book.
right,
but the good thing is y'all made the recommendation and hopefully things are a little better and will be reviewed better in the future, so.
Exactly.
thank y'all for y'all's time, like I said,
Thank you for addressing it.
Anyone else have a public comment?
I just wanted to it does look neater up there.
thank you. Thank you.
If that does pop up and we run into some conflict there, I think the board here is wide open as far as understanding and maybe doing an extension or.
Yes, sir, well, I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can quote this and the facts that were brought up about working with, about when it's applied going forward. But we just don't want it to be open-ended.
Right.
And if somebody has to come in every 6 months or every year, at a certain point, something needs to happen. I'm not gonna deny that. And that's in any situation, not this specific situation.
If there's no one that has any public comment, I say you're welcome, but if not, we're gonna move on and, with our agenda. I don't believe we have any old business, so we're gonna move on to the election of officers.
Yes, sir, this is the one time where the staff gets to participate in the meeting. And normally, rather than hold the full election, I just ask for nominations for the chair. And if y'all choose to keep everybody the same, you know, that expedites mine and the chairman's role in the election. But I will open the floor for nominations for chair of the, planning commission, under state law and your bylaws. This, office is for a year. Anybody have any nominations?
My name's Mark Ward.
I'll make a motion that I'll say the same.
Okay, just, so, I wasn't here in January of last year. Who is who? Mr. John Allen, I take it you're chairman.
Vice chairman and secretary.
Okay. Just so everybody knows. Does anybody want to second the nomination for Mark, or does he want to turn it down? and accept the role of secretary.
I'd rather, accept the role as secretary and keep it like it is. If y'all
So you're gonna basically second Ms.
I'm gonna
Barber's?
second Ms. Barber.
Okay, any
George,
second?
I appreciate the consideration, but I'd rather right now be looking at plats and signs.
I'll second that, also.
Well, but
I
you
think I'm better
will withdraw
served
your
with that.
motion,
Yeah.
I withdraw my motion.
and all in favor of accepting the, officers by acclamation to continue their terms in office for another year, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. John Allen, congratulations, sir. I'll turn the meeting back over to you.
There's the payment. Okay, item D, the automotive sales lot at intersection of 412 and Eastgate.
Yes, sir. This is an existing building. It had some easements. It's, existing parking. But because of the issues with TDOT, I recommended that the site plan be reviewed, with some approvals relative to that. The survey was conducted, all the signatures are included. It is a proposed car lot, which they're covered by the state of Tennessee. But for review purposes, I'm going by zoning for Lexington, and it had 3 parking spaces for the size of the building. And staff recommends approval based on, conditions. Appreciate Mr. Brown and everybody that, was involved in the review.
I believe this is the former, it was a branch bank.
First Bank, yes.
First Bank branch building on the east side of town. Do, any questions or comments? on
And he
it?
did get his TDOT paperwork. I've seen where he closed the driveway. So,
What is there's a property agreement in here.
yes, ma'am.
Does that play into anything
Well, I just didn't feel comfortable, and I basically waived or recommended the waiver of the landscaping you're supposed to have around the lot. Because this, looks like it was planted before, but the way the parking lot's laid out, so that everybody could share access. And I wanted proof from the owner of the current property, and this, that there's at least a record of, they're playing nice right now, so.
I was gonna say, you call this a record? I mean, but
Hey,
does it, if it doesn't affect us, it doesn't matter, I mean,
Well-
our decision.
well, I hope it's clear enough that somebody agreed on the neighboring property not to put up a fence and, you know, the best, your easement's only as good as your lawyer. So, but yeah, this is a step in the right direction of confirming access between the parking lot. It looks like a storage building in the back, and then where the bank used to be. So with all these corrections,
Yep. Or is the back shop gonna be part of that?
The
Two separate lots, the garage is in the back.
Yes, that's the reason, they come up and want to put a fence in there. And I got ahold of Mr. Ayers, and he doesn't want a fence neither.
Yeah.
We're gonna trade where they can drive through, you know, without the fence.
Right.
And if there's any conflict, it'll be between me and him. But we just don't want nobody parking on him.
Right.
And the people that's renting it has got the, know that they're not supposed to be behind. Actually, there's 2 different, lines there. If you drive behind the bank, you can see the old pavement versus the new pavement, and that's the line.
Yeah.
So you pretty much know where the line is to each property,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to tell you. They're not supposed to have nothing on him.
and thank you,
If that's
Mr.
what you
Brown,
want.
for your patience. I know
Yeah.
that your surveyor's back there.
Yeah.
But we did a good job on this deal, and I appreciate
Well,
it.
we just come up with that agreement. I called him, because I tried to buy the back when I bought the bank, you know, but he don't want to sell it back.
Are you, has he got all, as a car dealer myself, I said, has he got all the requirements or everything he did?
That is,
I know you're the property owner, you're leasing or renting it to him, but as, I know Tony very well.
they're having to do that. His wife told me the other day that they've almost got the process done. And then I don't think they're gonna be able to get a city license, is the way I took it, till they get their process done.
You get, yeah, till you get your dealer's license and then.
In the
Then it'll
town.
be a certificate of occupancy.
They're working on the address and have, where the Tennessee does the car lot stuff there and all that.
Inspector,
doing all that.
the motor vehicle commission inspector will come in and do a complete go over that.
They're doing all of that.
Okay, all right.
Because she told me the other day, I called her and I said, we're gonna maybe have this thing resolved tonight, you know, and, she said, well, I'm not completely ready because the state ain't got back.
Yeah.
So
Which that would
they're-
fall on you, that falls on
Right.
him, but there are requirements, of certain amount of spaces you gotta have which, you know, if something didn't conform there, he might come back to you and say, gotta do this.
Well, like I say, y'all,
That's not your problem.
whether I know the state car regs or not, I'm working for y'all and using y'all's zoning.
Yeah.
And the good thing is
You
presumably he
just
can
wanna make sure they do
recycle.
their stuff right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could recycle this site plan, hopefully, if he had a change in tenant. And I'm not, I hope it works out, you don't have to, you know, come get us.
If they got
fuzzy.
cleared all that state part, then you don't have a problem.
Mainly the reason I closed up the drive is because if it changes again, you gotta do something again, you know,
Yeah.
so I just closed the drive up and if it, I think it'll be for a while, so.
Staff recommends approval, but just for record keeping, again, we don't work for the state. If, when your tenant gets approval, presumably, that they bring it by, the building department, so the state couldn't say, what's Lexington doing out here, not sending
There
people
you go,
our
I'll
way?
take a copy of it, what you got.
So,
I make a motion to approve it as presented.
Have a motion and a second?
with signatures.
Contingent on the signature. Mark is second.
Yeah.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Dara,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Ms. Parker. Yes. Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Wood.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the next item, the review, comments, new warehouse and office for Shiloh Distribution Center site plan, revised in January.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members, this is not on the state route, so it won't involve, Department of Transportation, hopefully. Basically, I will let the applicants make their presentation, just to clarify some stuff and answer any questions y'all might have. But, basically, I think they've made all the corrections, and I'll listen to their presentation and then make a recommendation.
Do we have someone here from Shiloh Distribution? State your name, please.
Sharita Johnson. Thank you for having us. Very simple. What we are looking to do is take the property on 35 Kirby Drive, rebuild it off the current slab, and really we're expanding is we have another warehouse down the street. We're expanding it for storage to mainly be used purely for warehousing. Like I said, very simple. That is it.
As simple as it is.
Yeah. And just in general, just to kind of give you a little background, on the warehousing, it will be based on general code, from all low hazard merchandise. We deal with a lot. We deal with some food items. Most of our items that we deal with is what we do is support services to other nonprofit organizations. So we deal with household products, those type of general items. So nothing that is considered high hazard or anything to that degree.
This is in the, Timberlake.
Yes, sir.
Development, and it's the building burnt a year or two ago.
Yeah, it was not burnt. It was the one that actually got torn with the tornado. Yes.
And y'all, there was some corrections that needed to be made. I generally try to give y'all at least the cut and paste in the agenda. If y'all want to see the plans, y'all can. I know it's short notice on reviewing them.
You feel like it meets all the requirements?
Well, I think the, parking will accommodate the existing employees. I think the plans showed something for occupancy rather than existing, employees. They, striped the handicap parking and the parking according to the zoning. Staff recommends approval based on signatures and the stamps from the professionals.
Any questions, discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
We have a motion in a second.
Based on signatures and stamps from Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Darrah,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Ms. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Wood.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next on our agenda, review comments, Lexington Replacement Campus College of Applied Technology.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members. This is called in the planning language mandatory referral. Since this is a state and various governmental entities, what y'all do is review this project versus what you would like to see related to feedback. I use the zoning plan as a plan, and I also use some of the references from the industrial policies in the land use plan. But for zoning purposes, the M2 allows for educational services limited to special training and schooling, vocational and trade schools. So it would comply with the zoning. Again, if this was a private matter. There was a question about utilities. Again, because of potential state involvement, I didn't necessarily recommend that the certificates from the zoning be applied to the plan, because there may be other inspections other than what is taken care of here. And I've heard, but hadn't verified, that the Board of Regents will have some input on that, and the transportation. Y'all reviewed the plat, basically for, one stretch along this property. And the applicant or the representative may talk about how it's gonna be improved, et cetera.
Exactly, where is this?
TCAT, I'm sorry.
Where is it located?
It's north of the, cell tower up on 22.
You know, old Sam Page Park.
Oh, those, okay.
Yes,
sir, I'm over here.
I'm sorry.
You mind rolling up some plans out for
Not at all.
at least one of them for the
Let
members?
me state my name first, and then I'll be happy to bring the plans over. My name is Timothy Ogburn. I'm an architect for Allen & Hoschel, and I'm one of the architects. I'm actually the architect that signed this, these set of documents for the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. So let me go ahead and
We
grab.
didn't know where it was.
No, that's a very valid question.
Yeah, that's what he said, is what I was going
Sam Page, that's what I was trying to remember, the name.
You mind if I come over here? I don't know, I've got a couple copies that I can present. I think we have a couple copies, but this is one. There's the plat and also the site plan. And we can pass this around, but we're right off of State Route 22. And a new road will be created. It's called Technology Way, which is to the north of the site.
Seminole 22.
22 is running this way. The new road will tie into the warehouse road, distribution road, but this is going to become new technology way, or just technology way. So this is this is the plat that shows the original, how it was deeded, the book and page and parcel.
And that was done in 23, y'all. Again, I wasn't here, but it was recorded, I think, at least in 23,
And I have a full set of plans over here as well, if
You may have to.
you feel like it's necessary to pass it around. It's kind of heavy. Yes, ma'am.
I've seen those.
Ogburn is spelled O-G-B-U-R-N. B-U-R-N. Let me give you your call. So we're here to to present to you to make sure that we're, to be good partners with you, the city, and the board, and all of the other.
And Tim,
Yes, sir.
if you kind of relay what you told me on the phone about, the agreement that's being worked out about the improvements?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of questions asked about the road and how that's being worked out. So, let me just, I think it's fair enough, public knowledge to let you know this. I know that the City of Lexington, the Tennessee Board of Regents, and TDOT are working together to put together funding for this road. Also, we're working with Representative Martin up in Nashville. So it's several entities kind of coming together, and as it stands currently, a project over a certain amount of money, the state hires what they call a construction manager. So we have a construction manager on the project, but they have not released this formally for bid. So this is one of the parts of the project that we've got to come to you and make sure that we've shown you this, but also then once the Tennessee Board of Regents releases it for bidding, we can go ahead and they'll take the large major subcontractors and bid out the project. So, but to the road portion, they are pricing the road currently. Our general contractor is our construction manager, and different portions of the road will be paid for by different entities as it stands right now. So, I could go into detail on that. I don't know how much detail you want to know, but
Well, I mean, after the minutes were discussed, I think, well, we're kind of,
right.
we're hoping, and you are an indication we're moving in the better direction.
We are ready to, the drawings are done, but the Tennessee Board of Regents has to officially release us for bid. And we're almost to that stage, but we're also willing to, we need to make sure that you're happy with this. So this is not, we've got time to make amendments if required, but we feel like we've done our due diligence and we've presented a plan that meets the needs of the city. But we're willing to talk about that or do anything that you want to discuss. But
Didn't look at, have you worked on the drainage?
we worked. Yes, that's a great question. So
And the best the drain pipes are gonna be in
It'll be the right
100-foot right away.
we actually have a retention area that will slow down the discharge off of this property, and it ties in on, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of point to it. I don't know if everybody can see it. There's a retention pond that's gonna be right at the corner of what New Technology Way and 22, and there's a pipe that goes under the road that's existing. We're tying to that area, and that's to slow down the discharge off of the parking lot. So, but all the utilities will be tied in off of 22 because we've got the utilities for the building. Basically, they run in the road, and we'll just tie to them. Actually, there's a forced main sanitary sewer that we're going to tie. We have to put a pump station in over here. A small. When I say pump station, it's not like a building pump station. It's below grade. But
How big your main goes through there?
I'm sorry.
How big is your main going through there?
I can check, but it's a pretty substantial main.
Okay. I would think it would be, but I can't remember offhand what it is.
You would give me a moment. I'm over here.
The force main did, if I remember correctly. That happened at way, when I was here before.
It's a, well, we have a 48-inch round concrete pipe that goes under but I know that's not, the sewer main. I don't know if this drawing shows what it is, but there's a,
It'd be a draft at 12, 18, and 36.
there's a 12-inch high pressure gas line that runs through this. So I think the sanitary main is probably along those lines. I just have to find, I don't know where they put it on the map. but it's, we're
When
trying
you
to.
saying we didn't mean to give.
No, I know it's a very detailed question, but I wanted you to know that.
Industrial park feeding, is the industrial park, will come through there, or the other sewer force mains, I mean, are they coming out of there?
Well, now, y'all know I've been going longer
You're
than
supposed to
that.
know where all the sewer lines are.
I know, but, yeah, like I say, I just knew there was a force main and y'all were being real neighborly to your neighbor up north. I did know that. The particulars I did know about.
Basically,
Your force main off your topographs, based on your volume, it's gonna be 12, 18, 36. It's gonna be one of those three.
I want to say it's a 12. Our civil engineers will know right off the top of their head. And for some reason, I can't find it in the documents, and I apologize. I can get back to you though, tell you.
No, it's not a big, that's, I just mean, you know, it's gonna be there.
Yeah, but we have to tie to that because that's the only place we can tie the utilities to. There was discussion at one time about putting utilities in the road, and then that sort of, there still may be utilities put in at some point, but we couldn't, in order to get the building built in the time frame that we were told to try to get it in, that, we couldn't rely on that happening, so we tied it into the state.
basically, we're just deferring the use of this property.
Well, that, and again, if y'all have any suggestions, and y'all are on the record about, we wanna make sure the drainage is right and the sewer's right.
Yep.
So, I think the message hopefully has been received.
With the state and him and the architect and the civil engineers on top of it, I would.
I thought that sewer line was back on the railroad track.
I thought
That's
that's
what
what
I-
gas
It's
lines.
gas.
Well,
I don't know, that's
I
why I
mean,
was
gas
asking,
line,
the
yeah,
the industrial park feed,
but
the force mains come to the highway, I
We
didn't know.
built the first building in the industrial park, and we had to put in a septic tank until they built the road. We could actually leave the railroad track that our road in for the first 6 months. Eventually, they got a grant to build the road in, and then when they put the sewer in, which was the main road.
but you think it's out on the main road?
It's out on the main, it comes off the highway.
You mean
Sewer.
force main.
Now, gas, I couldn't tell you, it's wrong.
That is, and that is up the railroad bed, but we think the sewer is out.
I know the sewer came down when they had the, when they was putting the main road entrance road into
Yeah.
Timber Lake.
But does it stop there?
Sewer, but then it comes off the highway and services the whole,
Yeah.
industrial park.
But does it stop there on the highway?
It goes into the high pressure. Goes in that, no, it goes all the way to Crossroads.
Out on the highway?
And the one thing I wanna compliment the city on about moving forward is not only going through the various plating and site plan procedures, but Brandon and Public Works had, the plans available, so he and their staff, and if I ever asked, they've been good about showing me stuff too, so hopefully, we won't have a repeat of, College Drive out there unless the contractor just don't look at any of the plans.
Well, I think they was planning on that being a major industrial park and planning accordingly, and I think this is just a matter of planning on working off the highway and then building,
Absolutely.
arterial roads to it and causing this problem.
And like I say, I really appreciate the 100-foot right of way. That gives you a little bit of leeway, and you don't have to cut across the corners of anybody's lines, hopefully.
How big is the building? I didn't look at this.
So it's a two-story building, but the lab space, they call it a lab, they're single-story, but they're just a high volume, and that's to do the things that they're going to be doing. There's going to be welding and electrical work and machine. So the building itself is 55,218 square feet, and it is, like I said, there's a two-story section, but a high-volume one-story section, and they're gonna. It can right now. It can hold. It's when you do the code review, it's 1,025 people is what the code will. It's sized for that.
Yeah.
Now there may or may not ever be that many at one time, but there may be. So we have to account for that in the code. So we have done that with this design, and if it gives you and the board a level of comfort, there's erosion control measures in place on this part of this project to allow, to keep runoff from running into 22 and some of the streams and nearby water areas. But also, they've applied for a stormwater pollution prevention plan. The state has approved it, and I know that they are, the TCAT president signed it, so we are gonna be following that stormwater plan. And it's published and approved, and we can provide a copy for you if you need it. But,
Looks very, very good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And it's stamped, I can see from here.
well, yeah. But if you've got questions or if there's things that you would like to discuss, please let me know. With anybody in the city, and Brandon and all the folks there have been wonderful in working with us. So we're very, very happy to be part of it.
I don't,
Do we have to do anything? Do we have to make a motion?
I would make a motion to endorse the project in the most general way.
We don't have to do it, send it to them, that's, I make a motion, we approve it as submitted.
I said,
have a motion in a second. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
There's 190 parking spaces, and 7 of them are EDA spaces. Just for reference,
Glad to have it.
well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Mr. Anderson,
Where y'all at?
Mr. Darrow,
Yeah.
Mr. Foster,
Mr. Foster, she's calling for a vote.
Yes.
Ms. Parker, Mr. Reed,
yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Ms. Wood.
Yes.
Next thing we have is planning regions for continuing education. I think since we've had a very long meeting tonight, we want to table that for our next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, I did change the name. I have been assigned to the county, so I'm the county planner. And I understood, when I was researching their jurisdiction, it looks like the state had given, all the unincorporated areas to the county. And their county planning commission will be reviewing everything. Y'all still have an urban growth boundary, and if somebody asks for annexation, y'all could review the annexation. And again, a lot of you in the nineties remember, the subdivision out west. I did one, again, there's a continuation of a street here from the city to the county. And then I didn't want y'all to think that, somebody was moving ahead without going through y'all. Basically, they've, submitted to the county, and the county was reviewing their preliminary plat last week. And it's Tiffany Nicole. So somebody's, again, extending that street into the county. It's gonna be reviewed under their subdivision regulations and floodplain management.
Is that in our road area?
Yes, sir. But y'all won't have annexation, y'all won't have zoning or subdivision authority, unlike the past where you had subdivision authority, because the county is the planning region for everything outside of the city.
Some of the Attorney General's opinions that I've read, indicated to me at least,
Yes, sir.
that if it was in our urban growth plan, that we did have some authority over it.
Yes, sir, but again, in October of, I believe it was 2023, the state said, Henderson County's planning region would basically be all unincorporated areas outside of the municipalities. And I'm not a lawyer, so if y'all want a legal opinion, y'all are welcome to it.
The 1 mile planning zone is that still?
It never was, after 1101, or the county growth plan, when it was reconfigured, and you may have been on it, y'all may, well, matter of fact, most of you were on it. Y'all used roads and, creeks instead of just a 1 mile egg around the city limits at that part. And it was confusing too, because if somebody said 1 mile, but the city annexed, that 1 mile never moved. So planning regions didn't move. I mean, I understand what, it's just easier to tell somebody 1 mile.
Yeah.
And again, West Point kind of creeped back into into the 1 mile, and that new map made it more distinguishable than it had been before.
Well, we'll address it if there's a problem.
George.
George,
Make
it's
a
all
motion.
yours.
I make a motion with adjourn.
All in favor, say amen.
And I will give Sue a written test on the.
They let me do the last time, get it up with.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh, okay.
You do a good job.
ready.
Thank you.